picture in my hand. Faded Polaroid sits proudly in my grasp. Its plain old little frame has aged far past the age that it would be replaced. But there are no picture frames in space. I saw the most beautiful sight. I came up to Saturn's rings and flew right on by the side. I don't want to sound too saccharine, but I couldn't help but be reminded of your eyes. You know I always try. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. I lay surrounded in black sky, lost for all eternity, but time still moves on by. The brilliant comet's tails are still so gallantly bright, I could cry. There's no place to wipe my eyes. The vessel I reside in isn't fixed. These walls I swore were parallel now skew aside like this. But perhaps I might be seeing things. I've been alone so long I can't be sure. You would tell me what's wrong. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you.
How's that? Am I doing the music low enough? I don't know. What's going on? Face cam. Oh my god, why is she so freaking tall? Girl. Girl, why is she so tall? Hi guys. Hey XC13. Allobot. Fits of Inspiration. That's a cool new name. Anya. Nightbot. Chorley June. Matica's butt in the background there. Hey Matica, why you butt? Why you got a butt in the background like that? Yeah. How is everyone? POV, you're taller than Bones? It's literally every POV. Ever. Your baby's taller than me. Do you like my shirt? It's Miku. I'm a Miku fan. What's this fluff on me? It's cat fluff. How's everyone doing? Madoka cute waggy tail. Oh, we got AZ. We're good. Okay. I have... What is today? Today is the comic critique stream. I've been informed that the stock lady isn't real and she can't hurt you. So we're good there. What is with that thumbnail? Blame Ursula. Right, we're doing the comic critique stream. If you want your comics critiqued, you have to be a patron at the $8 tier. And yeah, that is that. That's what occurs. We're going to be doing the long form critiques today because they were all due. And we're going to do some of the short form critiques because otherwise Ursula is going to spend 3 hours next Thursday into the night talking about critiques and she will be dead. And we don't want Ursula to die, hopefully. So yeah. Beans, 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 beans. Exactly. Yes. So I'm gonna start. I have I have 2 to review. There was also some of you who submitted like comics, like long comics that I don't know if you want my opinions on. I don't have a lot of opinions on them. But the ones I do have are Stardust from BJ and the Bone Boys. The Boney Boys? And I have something about candles blow out the candle or something. AZ's story. It's called Chapter 19 Bones version, so we got a lot of Bones going on. I'm Bones. If you didn't know already somehow. We like Ursula alive? Yes, it's true. Gonna make Ursula critique my VR MMORPG. That is a lot of letters. A fairy game. Ooh, that's cool. I went last time. Someone else can go first? Yeah. Okay, where's Boney? Where's the Boney boy? AZ, you gotta stop showing up. That's how you always end up going first. No Farwin this week either. This month. It's wild. I might have some writing next month. That'll be cool. I don't even know what Boney's or BJ's name is. Is he Nerd Child showing up on time? I go first. Clad, baby. Yeah, we have stuff from Clad. What does the $50 tier include? I don't know. I'd have to read it. We'll make it up as we go along. $50 tier, you become my best friend. And uh I get you get to be my best friend, and that's the reward. A nerd. I'm gonna flush AZ down the toilet. I was late to my own birthday. I'm gonna flush you. Okay. I mean, I guess I could start with. Oh, whoa, it was loud. I think it's like. I think it was like turned up all the way because of therapy, where I talk like this. I just really quiet. Someone buy Bones' friendship. Like $50 to replace me. Okay, I'll just go with Boney's. Boney BJ. Boney. I'll go with their story. And I can just critique them, and if they have problems with it, they can fight me. Don't be like this to me. I don't care if I go first. Okay, I guess like you're the only one here of the two people that I can critique. Matica, don't cry. Please don't cry. It's not worth it.
Hold in your tears.
Hold in your tears. No, I'm here. Wait, are you... What? No. Critique me as a person. Okay, I was like, you're not. I swear to God that BJ was a person that we talked to. I'm kidding. Don't do this to me. Sammy's stealing my bit. Wow. Okay, we're gonna get nothing done if we continue in this trajectory. So I'm gonna start with AZ. Eh. Sorry, my eyeball hurts. It's good. I liked it. Oh my god. Okay, the noise. This is too loud in my ears. Okay, we're okay. We're good. We're good. It's good. I liked it. Good job. That's your critique. Yeah. I was definitely more engaged than I have been like previously during like this Des flashback thing, but that might just be because I'm used to it at this point, and I kind of know that it's going to be interspersed, so it helps my brain read it all proper and stuff. I enjoyed learning about... Attica, could you shut up?
No.
Please, I'm trying to work.
Put your headphones on.
Right, I enjoyed meeting, Cappy and the lady who has a name. Was it Pearl? I think it was Pearl. I enjoyed that. I thought they were interesting. I like seeing even like further rep of like neurodiverse stuff going on there. I think it all comes together nicely. It's very cool. I like the motivation that adds for Des to accept the job and go on to do the thing. I think that was very strong. Like, there was good characterization. Yeah. What else? Yeah, I liked the bells. I always like the little things. The little details and stuff are always good and cool. I find. What do I find? I would say that somehow you broke my text to speech when they spoke in French. My text to speech lost its mind and was like, "Oh, shoot, I'm French now," and it turned into a woman, and then it really started going really super slow during the during the rest of the English bit, and I was like, excuse me, so I had to fix that. That's not your fault, and I it was so it was an experience. But it was good otherwise. Like if I fixed it off pretty quick. Trans women speak French. Sorry. No, it wasn't your fault. That was just a notable experience that occurred. It usually doesn't do that. Actually, it does sometimes if it's reading. This is a tangent. I'm not gonna go off on it. I'm reviewing. French will do that. Yeah. Am I going too far down? No, I am not. What am I thinking? I think, like, I don't know if this is me or not. I wanted to build Sarah up too. Yeah, like, I don't know what it is. It might be like I need to like reread. But there's something like about Sarah that like I just don't I don't know what it is. Like I'm trying to think about what it is. And if it's just me having this like reaction, like that's probably not a deal. Like I just don't find myself like super engaged with Sarah. Um as a character, I don't know if it's just like a consequence of I'm gonna rewrite and build her up more in earlier chapters. She's been underdeveloped. Yeah, she feels like I tend to have a lot of time, like a lot of like trouble, kind of paying attention in the Sarah scenes. Like I can see that stuff is being built up with her, and I know there's like plots and stuff going on. I don't know what it is about her character specifically. I think it might be she's my favorite side character. Yeah, like I don't know what it is for me specifically. I've been writing the story, I've been learning more about her. I'm gonna develop her in the next draft. Yeah. I don't know if I just hate women. If I'm just bad with if I don't love that's not true. Like I don't know what it is. Like cuz I liked Pearl. I don't know what it is. I think I keep that in mind. I feel like she doesn't have much emotional stakes in her arc. Sorry, that was a joke if anyone didn't get that. Um but like yeah, maybe it's just yeah, that actually might be kind of what it is. I think it might be that she was kind of introduced as um kind of a foil for Des early on, and it didn't um and she didn't really have a lot of her own like character entirely at that point. And I don't know what it I like I was trying to articulate this to myself because like I know there's something going on here. Like so far I feel like she's the only one she's only been there to support other characters rather than her own. Yeah, that's definitely kind of what I get out of her is that she kind of exists in this space that's sort of like Yeah, where she doesn't have as much of like her own thing going on, and she does tend to just kind of support the other cast, and I think that's made me a lot less engaged with her. Where, yeah, I think she kind of just has this energy of um a side character that exists to mom the other characters, and maybe that's the weird woman vibe I'm getting. Where I don't know if like, yeah, I think she just, if there's more, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Because like the only way I can think of it is like she's just too nice. What is this? But like I don't hate nice characters. It's just, yeah, like I think she just needs some flaws to her too. Might be part of it, or like more understand what her flaws are would help. I'm working on that. I've been learning more about her as I write. Yeah. Cuz right now like I think I see that she needs more edge. Yeah. I think she just right now she's just too perfect, and it's kind of difficult because she is one of the only main female characters. So I guess it does kind of give me this era of like, the woman. Like, and I think that's kind of where my weird like yeah, like I think that's partly what it is. Yeah, well there's not, yeah, she needs that depth, and I'm definitely been feeling that, especially as you, yeah, wanted to avoid the woman. Yeah, I think there is like a bit of that going on with her, and I think it's just been specifically noticeable as you develop Des out more, because I think in the past Des was kind of like flat compared to Gil, and I think that Sarah just kind of feels flat currently as the other ones have like shaped out. So yeah, I would definitely work on giving her her own internal life and issues. Um yeah, and definitely pay attention to the existence like just her space as one of like the main female characters. Yeah, that's definitely what I would consider, because that's definitely like the main weakness I found in all of this, because like everything else has been pretty engaging and cool. Yeah, I agree with that, so it's good to hear. Yeah, she just feels very like I don't want her to not be supportive. I think I commented on this before, was like when Des came out to her and she's just like, oh yeah, sure. Like there's just not much like she's just super agreeable to everything, where it's just kind of, what's your deal? Like what's actually going on in there? Where are the struggles? Where are your faults? And yeah, and then tying that up with her being like female character, like it becomes like a bit like extra frustrating, I guess. But yeah, so definitely I would work on that. The lack of conflict. Yeah. Like I don't even know if she needs like tons of conflict or ever, because it's fine to have her as being a support character. It's just, I guess part of it is when you are the support character, it is like a highly contentious role in the story, surprisingly. Like if you think about it in terms of plot structure, if you think of the support character, they usually like have a lot of conflict because they tend to be the one who is typically right about everything, but the main character doesn't agree with that until the end. Like what are support characters? Like Sam and Frodo, they have some troubles together, right? There tends to be like a more of a conflict, even if the one is right. Yeah. It's inherently conflicting to kind of be correct and everyone not listen to you. I think it'll be better to give her more bite and have her more flaws, even keep the level of proactiveness the same. Yeah. Just there needs to be some tension there. Especially if you just really want her to be so connected to the story. Do you have any other questions? Like anything else you were worried about or thinking about? Because those would be my main vibes. I'm right, listen to me. Great note, I will remember that. Yeah, the support character has the hardest time. It's like Trixie and Amanda. Just listen to her. Trixie is right, come on. But also she's wrong. I don't know. It's a vibe. It's the vibe of watching the protagonist stubbornly do the wrong thing. It's like being a therapist, right? Where you gotta like wait for them to make the choices on their own. Because otherwise they don't listen to you. It's great. Samwise heart, yeah. Thanks, always very helpful. No problem. I'm glad you find it helpful. I guess I'll go on to BJ and the Bony Boys, and the Stardust thing, because y'all sent in. I think there was more outline that I read, or at the very least, I paid attention better to it than I previously did in the outline. Or you changed something. I don't really remember. But there was script included, which was neat. So I think I said previously that like I like the world and I'm interested in it, because that's something I usually say, because y'all have so many unique ideas all the time. And it was interesting to see like kind of how your script plays out, because it does give me a bit more to work with when looking at the outline, because when I was looking at the outline before, I wasn't really sure like episode length and whatnot and how you would go about doing that. So that it's helpful to kind of see. And yeah, your outlines for episodes are very spot on. So oops. So what I found, what did I find? I thought like reading your outline for each chapter and scene, like you have like a really good progression of events. Like you can really tell where the plot is going and how different plot moments it affects other things. It builds off of each other. Each thing builds off of the next, which is really good. There's not a lot of meandering, which is both good and bad in some ways, or less good in some ways. But all in all, like you have like a good outline for a first part of your story. Like it all comes together at like homecoming, which is cool. Or that's a good venue for like the end of your arc. Um, it all builds up real good. All of the pieces together, engaging, whatever. Um, I kind of I found that when I was reading the episodes, they were a lot shorter than I expected. Which is fine if like that's the episode length you want to go with. Like I think they were like solid as far as like episodes go. Um, but looking at like the greater context of your outline and knowing what happens in each episode, I think that for the sake of pace, you may need to slow things down a bit. And I guess by slow things down, I mean like adding more episodes that flesh out things more. Because I come in as someone who's read the character bios of each of your characters, so knowing all that and going right into the story, um, like I already have so much backstory that your readers won't have, and I think you need to take some time to flesh that out. Like I did like the little flashback that happens, but it is very very quick. Um, and it's such a jarring opening, which is fine. It's fine to start like on a speedy quick foot. Um, but like you have a very very big and different unique world, and I think I have a feeling, at least on what I'm being shown, because I'm only looking at 2 episodes here. I have a feeling that things are gonna like spin out of control um way faster than you think they will. Um because just looking at like what goes forward, like you have all these superpowers, you have um science experiments, you have all these like backstory characters, and um moving straight into all of these big events without taking the time to kind of have reflective scenes. It's I have a feeling that the story is going to be difficult to follow and will move at a very quick and kind of confusing pace. So I would like take some time after the break-in to the lab to slow down and deal with some of these things. Like for one, like looking at what happens in episode 3, like I have a feeling that it's going to be very abrupt, because it's a very abrupt ending and it's kind of hard to see how it connects into episode 2. Um yeah, and I don't think like I like your writing. Like I like how like an episode progresses and what's added into them, but they're very very quick, and I would highly suggest that you slow down a bit, and maybe the first part of your story might be a lot longer than you expect. Eh, but I also don't want to make you like increase your story length. I don't know. It's hard. Um, there needs to be some explaining and slowing down, because there's a lot to take in here. like that said, like I want to see how it progresses, and I'm glad to see some script, and I'm only basing it on like what amounts to 2 pages of writing. So like I could be completely wrong. I just need to see more, and I want you to like move forward in your script before you go back and rewrite everything, like because it'll be easy once you have things laid down to look back at it and be like, okay, this thing needs fleshed out and this thing needs fleshed out, because I have no clue what will need fleshed out here or there. And yeah, it's an interesting story. And that's all I got. I looked at some other stories. I looked at the Herbomachia, and I don't have a lot to say. Yeah, I don't even know what I would say. I didn't have much to say. What even? I liked the countdown. That's what I could say about that one. I feel like I just need to see more to continue with that story. And I read IDEX because I haven't yet. And I don't know if IDEX wants my opinions on things. And I don't wanna force opinions onto IDEC by any means. So yeah, Ursula, you can take it. You can kick me out. Yeah, it's your turn. I'm done. You're fine? Okay, never mind. I can tell IDEC my opinions. Because I don't have much usually for the ones that are more complete, because I don't want to get you guys all in a tizzy about stuff that's really hard to produce. I like your visual storytelling. It's pretty easy to kind of follow things. Your characters are cute, and it's interesting to kind of see your take on like the Pokemon world. Like I mainly read it and kind of had the one critique that on a sentence bubble to sentence bubble basis, there is a lot of words, and I don't always think that the amount of words placed in the bubble is necessary, and it kind of bogs it down and makes it kind of difficult to read. Because I honestly think that you tell things very good through your visuals. That you could really cut down on a lot of your paragraphs of text. I'm trying to find an example. Like, I'm looking at, like, page 21, and, fella in the green shirt is saying, "Are you sure you're gonna be alright, Riley? It looks like you took a real beating out there." It's the second sentence in that isn't really necessary, because we already saw the beating getting taken, and it just kind of extends your text a lot. And as a comic reader, I don't like reading. And it can kind of, it just, there's a lot of like I just really would cut down on the word count from bubble to bubble. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if Ursula will agree with me. Yeah, too much telling kind of thing. Yeah, like it's definitely a lot of telling, because like I think you do really well at telling your story visually. So it would definitely be like advantageous to you to like cut down a bit, because like yeah, like you can tell your story really well through just visuals, and when you do have like smaller amounts of text, like things do great. Like I think the general rule is to only really use those big paragraphs in situations where it's really impossible for you to get something across. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's my main thing. You know how to listen to video and procrastinate. All right. Well. Well, yeah, that's my main thing. It's a cute story though. Very adorable. Now Ursula can take things from me.
I'll take the wheel.
Ursula, take the wheel. I won't make peace apocalypse.
Okay. Hello. Hi, everybody. Oh my god, the chair's so high up. Ugh. I'm a tall lady. Okay. I'm not that tall. I'm average. Hi, everybody. The dress was designed by my loving husband and sewn by him. Bones made this. Can you believe it? He did it in like a night. Okay, it took longer to do more of it, but he sewed the actual fabric in a night. It was crazy. It's like the cobbler elves. The shoemaker elves or whatever. I have to turn my volume up. Oh lord. Is that better? Can you hear me now? There we go. Hi everybody. Okay. Right? Bones did such good work. Okay. So louder. I cannot. He's a keyboard elf. Yes. He is. House spouse. Look at those gloves. He's making French toast. Damn. Okay. So Idek, I'll continue with your critique. Because I know you had a question that was kind of like outside of the comic portion a little bit that I can answer. And honestly, I agree with like everything Bone said. I think your art is really cute and fun to read, and visually you're very good at storytelling. And yeah, just some of the dialogue needs to be cut down a bit, like Bone said. So your other question was about posting your comic. Currently, you're posting it on DeviantArt. I'd say just look at the big hosting websites. So Webtoon and Tapas are two big ones. Just because you can get like a larger, like a new audience looking at it. Because people who are maybe on Webtoon might not be on DeviantArt, so you just get more eyes on it. It's totally fine to mirror it on other websites.
Smack Jeeves have like a pretty big Pokemon fan comic community. I don't know if it still does, but in the past
True. Bones just made a point that Smack Jeeves used to have a really big Pokemon fan comic community. We don't know if it still does. I haven't been on Smack Jeeves in like years. But if it does, then that might be something to look into. What else? Yeah, so I just look at like the big hosting websites. Don't be afraid to like repost it multiple places and just see kind of what feedback you get. Some sites you might get lots of eyes on it, some websites might not, just depending on what the algorithm throws your way. But yeah, don't be afraid to post it around different places. And right, and you're also talking about kind of juggling working on this comic and starting a new one. And you're worried about like losing interest in this old one and then just focusing on your new one. I'd say the heck is Smack Jeeves? Oh my god, I feel old. It's not around anymore? Damn. That was like the comic site I hung out at as like a teenager.
they actually killed them? Because I remember they updated and everyone freaked out.
It might have. I'm just saying they updated the site and it kind of pushed people off of it. So maybe it did. I don't know. But that was the site I used to hang out on as a kid. And read webcomics. Like we were really active on the forums there too. Like that's kind of when we started Sovereign. We were on there. Anyways, total sidetrack. These whippersnappers don't know about Smack Jeeves, right? Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, so balancing projects can be really difficult. It's possible to work on 2 comics at once. I think you would just want to invest in figuring out like a work schedule that works for you. And kind of look at figuring out like project management. So like for example, maybe you want to kind of bounce between projects in between like month to month, for example, like October I'm gonna work on this new comic, and then November I'm gonna work on my Pokemon comic, and then back and forth. And then you kind of need to work out like what project plan works for you. It's definitely difficult. I would say I think it's also valuable to finish this comic that you're working on, that you have the prologue for, just because finishing I think finishing a project is really important, because if you start a whole bunch of projects, you're going to be really good at making beginnings, but you might not be very good at making like middles or endings. So I'd recommend like following a project as far as you can and trying to finish it. But that doesn't mean that you can't work on other projects alongside it. It just means creating them each will go slower because you're dividing your time in half. But if it keeps you motivated by jumping between projects, then totally do it. That's what Bones and I do, because we have tons of ideas and different projects we want to work on. So yeah, just alternate between them. I guess have deadlines that you're following. And you said you seem to be good at following deadlines. You mentioned you were finishing your prologue by the end of September, so just keeping like realistic deadlines can really help, and having smaller deadlines inside those can also help, like just being, instead of saying I'm gonna have 20 pages done by the end of a month, have like some smaller ones, like in order to do that I need to have them all sketched out by like the end of the first week. This is like a really big goal. 20 pages is a lot. But just breaking it down into smaller goals so that you still feel like you're making progress can really help. So yeah, I hope that answers. You had another question later. All right, you talked about putting more effort into your comics. I would say don't worry too much about adding, say, like really detailed backgrounds and like more realistic anatomy onto your stuff, especially since you have like a prologue down. I would say keep the stylization you're going with, especially if it's really easy for you to create. With comics, as much as it can hurt, because I do this where I'm like, I want it to be perfect. But what's important to remember is that like a good artist ships, a good artist completes things and puts it out. So I'd recommend just sticking with whatever is easiest for you, even if you do have to cut some corners. And I would say on the side, do studies where you practice working on backgrounds, you practice like anatomy and your fundamentals and all your good stuff for supporting your comics, and that will slowly leak in to your other comics as you work on them. Like as you get better at drawing backgrounds on the side, you're going to start putting more backgrounds into your comic. The better you get at drawing realistic anatomy, the more that's going to come into your stylization, stylized characters and stuff. So yeah, so just do it on the side, and it'll work. It'll worm its way into your other art. I would say just do what is easy for you to complete. Hi. Hey.
Wins here.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, hopefully those answer your questions, IDEC. I totally know that feeling. It's difficult when you're bouncing around between projects and stuff. Bones peek. Just a little peek. Okay, who would like to go next? Sean submitted. I don't know if Sean is here. Clad. Oh, I could hop back to Nat and Herbomachia. Maybe we should do the other ones first. And then Kuro and Fitz are also here. So who would like to... Cloud would like to go? Okay, awesome. All right. All righty. Okay. Okay, so, right. So you wanted kind of like a general critique, and I'm guessing Kuro and I will go last. Not necessarily, because some people aren't here, so I'd rather like go over for the people who are at the stream, so you don't have to like wait around forever till the end. So if either of you would like to go next, that's totally fine. Okay, so Clad, looking at it, I want to say that your backgrounds in your comics are so gorgeous. Like, guys, I want to show you. Shoot, which page is it? Like, look at that. That is gorgeous. There's so much detail. I love all the texture and shadow you put into it. It's just so nice. Like, dang. Like, yeah, just love it. Lots of lovely background work. The compliments right away. Why is this really good? I gotta point it out. I think you're also very good at setting like the mood in your comics. Like, I love this part where she like falls down the creek, the creek bed, and like it gets all dark and spooky, and like you don't have all that much detail in the background. Like it's just like some little texturing on like the walls and like texturing on the water, and then you see some trees, but like just like the subtle gradient of the sky in the background and on the land, and then she's like the only like high contrast bit on it. It's just so nice. It's just so good, so atmospheric. I love it. Yeah, really great work with that. I also really love the way the wolf was framed. I think you did a really good job of I like the way kind of expectations were kind of played with, where they say like, you know, these guys chase her into the woods and they're like, oh, leave her, the witches will get her. And then you see like this giant wolf come sneaking up and attacks her. And you're like, oh, okay, that's the witches. And then it's like, no, the the boar that comes and save her is the witches. It was really good. Very good build up and twist that I liked. As for little things that I think overall really great work all around. I think there are some little things kind of paneling wise that could help with I guess like clarity of story, if that makes sense. And it's all very nitpicky stuff. So for example, on this page here, these two panels, I feel like her reaction to getting shot breaks, I guess it kind of breaks flow a little bit. So what I mean is you have the arrow pointed at her, she's off on the far right, and then we get the camera flips and we see her from the front, or possibly like looking over her shoulder. It's also hard to tell because it's such a close-up of her face, so I can't really tell like where she is. And then we don't get, say, like a pulled out panel where we get more context to her reaction. It's just her face. So it feels very, like, it doesn't break the flow because you still get pointed toward the next panel with this composition, but it just feels like it breaks the momentum of the shots, of the panel layouts. Like, I think it would have helped to maybe pull it out to give more context to see like her body position, or continuing like the framing, not the framing, but like the direction of the camera here. So you see kind of like an over the shoulder shot and we can still see her shocked reaction. I guess a full body shot of the arrow hitting the target would work better. Yeah, that could also help. I mean, you get context later because you see that, you know, a bow was pointed at her and later you see the arrow has struck her. But yeah, I think that would be a good direction. So show like the arrow and the camera facing the same way, and maybe we see like her head turned and you see her kind of from the back reacting. I think that would kind of help with the momentum a little bit. Another way to make impacts more impactful, so like an arrow being shot or like a punch being thrown, is showing the impact several times. So showing like say like the arrow being shot, then the arrow hitting, and then the person reacting while the arrow hits. That can be a way to make it feel really like, ow, really painful and impactful. The other place where I think where I think framing it a little differently could, maybe not framing, but like the posing could be changed a little bit to make it feel more clear. So this middle panel here with the boar headbutting the wolf, I was very confused when I first read this, because I was like, okay, I don't know, it was just difficult to read the action between this first panel of the wolf biting the boar and then the boar headbutting the wolf. I wasn't sure if, just with the posing here, if the wolf was like throwing the boar or if the boar was headbutting it or running at it. Like, I just didn't get that the boar somehow pulled back out of the jaws and then headbutted the wolf away. Like, just that the impact is missing. Where you see the result, you see the wolf being thrown and then the wolf running away, but there's just that impact that's missing, and I just found that a little confusing. So you could, instead of adding like another panel, I think this middle panel could just be changed to have the just show the impact, just show the boar's head like smacking the wolf, and then the next panel we get the context of like, okay, the boar scared the wolf off. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, it was very nitpicky stuff. I loved the fearsomeness of the wolf. Like, I love how just like big and scary it is. Like this shot in particular where it's got her leg like in its jaws, I was like, oh my god, that wolf is huge and scary. So I think you did a really good job with like framing and making it feel very imposing. What else? As for the character designs, I think you did a good job. Everyone's very distinct in their designs. I did like how the men at the beginning were kind of like vague, like you never really see their faces, you just see like impressions of them. Which I think works. I love the boar lady. She's cute. I love the little thing, tusky guys. I just wanted to draw hot witches. I think you did a good job. Yeah, it reminds me a lot. I think just the animal stuff, and I think especially the boar's appearance, it reminds me a lot of like Inuyasha, if that makes sense. I think it's just because a lot of them like transform into animals and wear like animal skins and stuff. The men are not important, exactly. But yeah, but I love how distinct everyone is. Different body types. Obviously, like the child character is much smaller than everyone. I love this witch. She's so pretty. But yeah, but I love how like they all have very different vibes. Where like she's very like elegant and almost like elven. Part of it is she has kind of pointy ears, but but yeah, she's got that very like elegant, like refined look, whereas like the boar witch is very more like broad and tough and more wild looking and more of a warrior. Inuyasha is a big inspiration. I think you did a really good job. Are you just feeding the dogs your French toast? You're done. Okay. But yeah, I think the character designs are very distinct and very nice. Yeah, the dogs do deserve French toast. You're correct. So yeah, I think you did a really good job overall. Is there anything I didn't cover that you had questions about? I just want them to kiss. I just look at these two and I'm like, could you kiss? Are you a couple?
I was eating it, enjoying it, and I was like, it's funny that I enjoy this thing, but it's just essentially wet bread. And I ruined it.
Don't think about wet bread when you're eating French toast, you fool.
After the dogs are like, yes, think of wet bread. Anyway, sorry.
My goodness, they do kiss a lot, just not in this comic. Oh, how dare. Well, you have to continue this comic. So you can make them kiss. Where did Bones go? He left. He did his portion where he critiqued the scripts, and now I'm critiquing the art. The dogs, we like wet bread. Exactly. They love it. It's their favorite. Okay, well, let me know, Clad, if you have any other questions. I think overall, really awesome job. Who would like to go next? We have... Oh, I feel like the story is a bit all over the place. It feels too sudden. I don't think so. I think pacing-wise, things feel good. Like, I'm not really sure how you would draw it out more. It definitely feels like the setup to a story. Like, I was thinking when I was reading it that it felt very, like, it feels like the beginning of a story. Like, it doesn't feel like a complete arc. It feels like an inciting incident type thing. To, like, a bigger story involving these characters. Like, involving, like, the witch. The girl becoming a witch or something. Like, if it was a fully complete story, I think I'd want to see maybe more, like, trial fail cycles from the protagonist, the girl. But as, like, a setup for a story, I think it's, like, a strong start where you have questions like, you know, what is the society outside of these witches like? Were they, you know, why was this girl chased off? What do the witches do? Was that big giant wolf a witch? Like, there's lots of questions I have, and I think it's like a good way to start a story. Lots of action and lots of questions being raised, which is really nice. So yeah, I don't think you have to worry about it being too quick or too rushed. It's supposed to feel like a prequel? Yeah. It totally feels that way. Fitz wants to go next? Okay. Exactly, you gotta do the full story. You can draw the witches smooching. Awesome, well, great work. Okay, Fitz, my friend. What does the $8 patron tier include? So the $8 patron tier includes, you get access to, our private Patreon, Discord channels, where we have, like, voice chats, we have, like, a general Patreon chat, and you also get access, you get to submit your work for these streams. We have two different kind of styles. One is like the short form, where you can submit like character designs or single comic pages or illustrations and get art critique, or you can submit for the long form, which is more like you can submit like lots of pages and get kind of general critique, or you can get like Bones to look at your script, but that's all covered by the $8 tier. You get access to weird conversations. You really do. You have to hang out with Oberon and Charlie. So, do you really want that? You're very supportive, Charlie. Yeah, the image is a bit zoomed in. I can zoom out. Okay. Charlie gets it. So good-natured. I'm a gem, thank you. My goodness. Okay. All right, Fitz. Fitz, my friend. Let's see. What did you write? General feedback on all of these. So this is Roman. He's not a nice guy. Okay. He's immune to poisons and venom and can't die. I'm assuming people are trying to make him die. He just won't. He's just a bit of a cockroach. Always wear headphones in group chat or your family will worry about your new friends. Exactly. I definitely want to submit my work once I have something. Heck yeah. Please do. Okay. So. He definitely... He reads... So he reads as, to me, as like an eccentric uncle type, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I'd see him hanging out in a library with all these like specimens in jars on the walls, and he's going to he's gonna give me like important information in like a quirky way. If that makes sense. Eccentric, yes. Yeah, that's the vibe I get. I like the his pet snake and his like snakeskin boots. I think that's a nice little motif kind of going through, and I like how like lanky he is, and how I love the texture in the hair, especially in like the ponytail. Like it's so wavy. Real Kelsey, exactly. Yeah, and I like the through line with the green and the blue and the gold. Like you always have very like, what's the word? I want to say like tidy color palettes. Like they're very limited and used very well. But yeah, I like how they're like I like how the green is kind of shifted towards like the yellow side of green, and the blue is kind of shifted. I mean, it's still pretty blue, but it's a little bit more on the tealer side, and I think it all works very well together. Cohesive colors. Yeah, I also like how you've added some length to like his face and his facial features as well as his body. Like I like how he's got this long nose and like a longer jaw. I like how his eyelashes match his hair. I think that's also a cute touch. Yeah, and I think you've done a very good job with defining the shapes as well. Particularly, I like how his vest kind of shapes his torso. Yeah, I feel like you just used a good job with like using really definitive shapes, and I feel like you're also shading things in a way where you're defining the shapes, like following the forms and stuff. Some really minor critiques. His hand here, the one in that's I guess like farther towards the background, looks a bit too large in comparison to the one that's maybe like closer to the camera. Um, I think that's the only like major. I think that's the only error I could find, honestly, because there's some things where like I don't know, his neck might be a bit long, but I kind of like it because he's got this very like lanky kind of pulled out look to him, and I think it works for the stylization. I struggled with that a bit, getting the perspective on the hands. Yeah, totally fair. I think you've got the perspective good. It just this needs to be like shrink down a smidge, just a smidge. So yeah, overall, very good work. I'm also just wondering about bringing the gold into his lower half a little bit. Like I like the balance between the green and the blue, but I find his face is very gold heavy, which I think you can keep, honestly. But I feel like, because one way to check a character's design is to like cut them into quarters, like kind of down the middle and down the, and through the center, and just see like do all of the quarters like match. So I think, or do they feel like the same character? So I think shape-wise, he feels like the same character, but I think he just needs a bit of gold in his pants or on the shoes, something like that, just to bring it through a little bit. Yeah, especially because he's got such long legs and they're very like they feel like a defining factor of this character. So I'd love to see the color just kind of brought through everything. Yeah, like a stripe on the bottom of the pants, or like gold buttons, or like a gold zipper, anything like that. Gold soles, yeah. Little gold bottoms to the shoes. There's tons of different ways you could take it. Yeah, maybe like a little snake embroidery on the hem. I don't know. There's lots of ways you could do it. Yeah, do you have any other questions on this one, Fitz? I'm just gonna steal Bones' water. Don't tell him. Yeah. You're good? Okay, awesome. So for the next one, so, alright, so this is your Meet the Artist. Feedback on the pose and coloring and anatomy. Okay. So again, overall, really strong color palette. I like how you've used red to really contrast with the green and teal in the piece. And I also like how, because you've got a lot of like blue, like it's a very like blue teal kind of color going through. I like how the red you've chosen also has like a little bit of orange in it, so that all the colors are contrasting really nicely. I would say, yeah, anyways, really strong color. I think you've got pretty good contrast going on. throughout. I like how you've got in the gradient in the background. I like how where you're using lighter colors, so like with your hair and like the upper half of your body where you're using some like lighter colors. Sorry, just thinking out my words here. I like the way you've chosen to put the gradient where it's a little darker at the bottom and a little lighter at the top, because I feel like if you had that bottom color behind the top section, they'd kind of meld together because they're very similar in value. So it's nice that it's a little bit lighter at the top. I think you could contrast the hair a little bit. It's hard because you want to stick to like your hair color, probably. But yeah, higher contrast a little bit. It's not too much of an issue. Just if you feel like it, you could push the contrast a bit more there. I think that the pose is really nice. It's so cute. I really like this this drawing a lot. It's very cute. Lots of movement going on in like the pose and the hair. Really cute expression. Very friendly. I like all the little details throughout as well, like the little buckles on the shoes and like the decal on the sweater, which is very nice all around. I'd say there are a couple little anatomy errors. I think overall the pose is well done. It's dynamic. There's some little errors like this arm at the front here. There's something going on where the forearm feels very short. Where I feel like from this angle, you'd see more of a crease kind of here rather than down here. If that makes sense. So like bringing it up, you'd see the forearm in front of the upper arm. And pardon me, on the flip side, you'd see, I think this upper arm needs to be a little bit longer. Like I'd expect to see the elbow touching the knee. And I think there's also, just with the fold going on here behind the knee, it feels a little off. I think it's just the fold feels like a bit too big. Because you'd have some creasing like with the bent knee, but it feels like it just needs to be closer to the actual crease from the knee. But yeah, I think there's just some minor details like that. Overall, I think you've done a really good job on that. The only other thing I would say layout-wise, so I really like the kind of offset thing you have going for the major headings. So like with your name and like age and pronouns. And the reason I think it really works is because you've got big bold lettering on top. I find in this like in the bullet point lists of like what you like and don't like, I would say because it's so small, especially when you look at it from like far away, like if I was looking at it on a phone and it's like smaller, it's a little hard to read just because the letters are smaller and thinner. There's more contrast going on beneath the letters. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. So it makes them hard to read just the way they're overlapping. I'd recommend putting them fully into these rectangles instead of having them overlap. And if you are going to have them overlap, I'd be very careful about, like I'd make them darker and bolder. I'd also line them up. Like it's hard to say because I like how they wrap around the illustration. But I think that can also add to like being difficult to read. Yeah, centered in the background on the words. That would definitely help. Yeah. You could also get away with using like a less kind of decorative font. I think this is just me being like a boring graphic designer. But I'm like, you could use like a more kind of like a sans serif, something more like Arial or Helvetica, or maybe something more fun. Like, I don't know, Avenir or Futura or something. But those are just really easy to read in like lists and body copy, as opposed to like a heading. So it's just something to consider if you're interested, but not necessary. Listen, let me have fun with my fonts, okay? Yeah. So I think that's all my advice. Overall, very cute. Good colors. Good posing. I just used the font I made for everything. Yeah, totally fair. I think in that case, I'd just make sure I'd keep things in kind of columns so that they're all like aligned really well. So you can things don't like run together by being like too close or like spaced out strangely. And yeah, and I'd get rid of the offset on the text just to make it nice and legible. Yeah. Do you have any other questions on this that I didn't cover? Not that I can think of. Okay. So we'll move on to the last one of yours. Oh! Oh, it's a kitty! Oh, bye, Mika. Baby. She's leaving. She left me. Okay. So for the last one, I made for your character here. I'm doing for Halloween. I don't know what that is. I'm behind on the trends. I don't really go on social media anymore. Feedback on coloring, anatomy, perspective, composition, expression, etc. Okay. So yeah, I think you do a really good job on the perspective. It's a type of commission. Oh heck. Where the pose is predetermined. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Okay, this is an example piece. Okay, cool. That makes more sense. I thought it was like a meme where it's like draw it in your style, that kind of meme. But yeah, I get you. Thank you. Kitty delivery. Miku. Okay. So, I think you did a good job with the perspective. Like there's lots of good overlap. Good sizing and proportioning. It also feels like you really referenced the hands. Like they feel really nicely rendered. Yeah, just good overlap, good foreshortening type stuff going on. I think you did that really well. chill out, little lady. The expression's really cute. It's got good Halloween vibes. I like how there's depth to it, and I think it's just because you rendered the perspective really well. Even though things are very, like, flat, it still feels like it has depth, so that's really nice. I think the colors could be higher contrast. Like, I like the palette. Like, it feels very cohesive. It's very Halloween-y. But it feels like some of the details kind of get lost, especially down here where things are overlapping. So, because they're overlapping, they're going to be harder to read visually. If you have something where you can, like, silhouette it and see what it is, that's, like, just from, like, a visibility, like, I guess, accessibility type thing, that's, like, the best way to show something. So when you have stuff overlapping like this, you need high contrast so that people can see the details. And especially because, like, you've drawn these, like, lovely hands that you've referenced. I think they just need, like, darker line art or darken her dress behind them. Just something like that to really make them stand out and add to that depth color-wise. Because right now the colors are all very mid-tone to light. They don't really go into that really dark color, which you can keep. Because, like, sometimes you want to use, like, a pastel palette. You don't want to have all those, like, super dark colors. But if that's the case, you really need to, like, lighten up either foreground elements or lighten up the background. Just something to push that contrast. But yeah, overall, like, it just feels very balanced. I love the details on the hair. Especially on the bangs. They just look really, like, soft and rendered really nicely. Yeah, I think that's your only issue. I just want to see higher contrast on the overlapping elements. Yeah. It's a little cap. Okay, yeah, do you have any other questions about it? Anything I missed? Miku baby. Come here. Oh my god. So dramatic. Baby. Oh, bye. How does the composition look with the background elements? Really nice. I like how they're balanced in that you have, like, the same kind of weight on either side of the character, because this is, like, a square composition, and it's very, like, symmetrical down the middle. I like how the background elements, while they're different, like, you've got things kind of scattered around, they still feel like they have the same weight. So it's nice seeing like, good balance while still showing, like, it's not completely symmetrical. So I think you did a really good job with that. I also don't find they distract from the character, which is great. Yeah, they just add good Halloween vibes. And how does the expression look? Really good. Very mischievous. I think you're getting a lot better with proportioning the faces. I think you could do a bit more with, like, having the eyes and the eyebrows interact. she could look more kind of mischievous if you had the eyebrows like touching the eyes, for example, and showing just more kind of like creases around the brow. Yeah, I'd experiment with that a little bit, or adding more shadow beneath the brow and above the eye, just to add like a bit more depth to the face. Like you've got a little bit around like the bridge of the nose, but you showing a bit more depth where the brow kind of covers the eyelid, I think could yeah, just add some more depth. Help with the showing kind of like a more menacing expression. Yeah, but overall, like, really good expressioning, very cute. Having the eyebrows maybe fold. Sorry, having the eyes maybe fold into the eyebrows a bit too. Yeah, totally. Just bringing it down a bit more could definitely help. Yeah. No problem. Thank you for submitting. Alrighty, who would like to go next? So we could look at Kuro stuff, or Sean. I don't think Sean is here today. Yeah, so Kuro. Kuro, would you like to go? Because you're here. And then I'll do Nat and Sean stuff. Okay. Wait, I think this was the first guy. Alrighty. So the first is... Oh, goodness, I don't know how to say his name. Heiki? He's an influencer and a single father of 2 girls who likes to prank and scare. Rude. Does he run prank channels? A general critique of his design and personality. Okay. What's on his shirt? Oh, it's a Boo. Or like a ghost. Okay. Right, because he likes to prank and scare. Okay. Okay, so personality-wise, he seems very, yeah, he seems very playful. He seems youthful, despite maybe being like an older character. I like the lines that are going on in his face. I think that's like a good indicator of being like a bit older and a bit more mature. Yeah, he seems like a bit of a goof. Very playful. Doesn't take things too seriously. Cares about his appearance. Especially with having like a more youthful look, like having kind of like styled hair and wearing more kind of like a fashionable shirts type thing. Obviously cares about his appearance, but still looks like a little bit scruffy around the edges, which I feel like can contribute to being like, ah yes, he's a single dad. He can only do so much because he's juggling so many things. Yeah, so that's kind of the read I get on him. As for his design, yeah, I really like the touch with the shirt. I like the kind of ripped hem going on. It definitely gives that more kind of like stylish feel to it. I'd like to see a little bit more with like the bottom half of his design. I feel like there's a lot going on in the upper half. Like I'd love to see maybe more kind of distinct shoes, or maybe like some more definition on the pants. Like if he's wearing like a ripped shirt, like would he wear ripped jeans? I think just because the shoes and the pants are kind of missing, like they feel a little generic, especially like looking at your greater amount of work. I think maybe giving him some like, I don't know, more designer looking sneakers or something might help, or bringing in like oh god, I don't know if this is still a fashion trend, but I know for a while like people would wear like these white fashion sneakers and stuff. So balancing like the white with the in his shoes, like with the white in his shirt, could probably help. Bringing in some more of the kind of purple tint that's in his hair elsewhere might also help. And I think bringing in like lighter colors into his lower half would also help with contrast, because right now he's like all bright up top and then all dark on the bottom. So yeah, so I think just adjusting the lower half of his design would really help, because like I was saying with Fitz, if you cut a character into like quarters, like you want to make sure that each quarter feel like they're from the same character, and I feel like if you did that, the bottom half would feel very different than the top half of your character. I think, yeah, so I like what you're doing with this kind of lighting effect on the face here with the glow of the camera. I'd like to see the light hitting his face a little bit better. Like you've got a bit of an overlap where you can see like the color of his hair has changed through like the effect, but I'd love to see like more of a glow coming off like his nose or his cheeks or his eyes, like a reflection or something. Just playing around with the light a little bit more if you're gonna include it in. I tend to just do basic shoes and pants. Yeah. I think a lot of people tend to do that because you're more focused on the face area. Like I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I'll get pretty generic with like pants and shoes and stuff. But I think just good character design kind of accounts for everything. Yeah, so I'd love to see more kind of playing around with the lighting and stuff. Anatomy-wise, there's something weird going on with his arm here, where his forearm is kind of bent a little bit, where I think just his hand should be like swiveled, if that makes sense. So like just the hand swivels, not the whole arm. And I think his like the little bunny ears he's doing, like his fingers seem a little bit too long. But overall, I think your proportion stuff is doing really well. I also like the lighting on the shoes. I think you've done a good job with like adding definition to the shape, even though you're using just like a black fill on them. I do really like the little light bloom on them. Same with the top of his hair. I think adding more stuff like that in can really help with like defining your shapes more. Yeah, do you have any other questions on him, Carl? That's great. Awesome. Okay, so next was his daughter. or his youngest daughter. So that her name is Aneki. Okay. Okay. Okay, so she's an artist. She's young. What does her sketchbook say? Oh, just Anaki's sketchbook. Okay. Yeah, I like. So she seems like, age-wise, like a teenager or a preteen. Uh, she, yeah, she looks very youthful. I do like how, kind of body shape wise, you can tell that she's like shorter and younger than her dad, who's like a lot taller. I should stop picking names people can't say. Hey man, you know what? Having unique character names is good. She's 12 to 13. Okay, yeah, I can get that vibe from her. Yeah, just the way she dresses is very youthful with like the overalls and the like the high socks. I like how kind of like unstyled her hair is. That always seems like a youthful feature to me, where your hair is more kind of like plain, because obviously when you're like 12 you're not styling your hair a whole lot like you might when you're in your 20s. But yeah, so I think that's a nice little touch. I love the cat pattern on her overall dress. I think that's really cute as well. Her colors are also very cohesive. I like kind of the olive green. It works really well with all the purple in her hair. And I like the I like the kind of I love the gradient going on in her socks and her undershirt. And I like how there's like an opposite gradient on them. I think that does it does the contrast really well. It's just a nice little effect that adds like a little bit of visual interest to her outfit, because I could see like going all like this dark olive, well, not bad. Like, I think just adding the gradient just adds like a bit more depth to it, and it's nice. I also like the shape of her shoes, like just adding a little bit of a unique shape to the boot really it feels like it matches with like her overall dress, and it's just a nice little touch. It feels very unique to her, which is great. This is a character where I feel like no matter what part we're looking at, it feels like the same character. I love like the little notebook in her pocket and the pens. Like, those are cute little character details. Like, she's always ready to like pull out a pen and start sketching. I also at 12 totally had that kind of sketchbook that's like covered in stickers, and I've written my name on it and stuff, and always carrying around a sketchbook as a young artist. I'm sure we can all kind of relate to that. Her eyes are a little scary. I think it's just the fact that she has like this big smile and these like big eyes that are full of like rings and stuff. It's a little off-putting. A little intense. I'm not exactly sure if she's supposed to be kind of creepy, because I think these are from like a horror story. If I've seen your posts around the Discord server. So I'm not sure if she's supposed to be kind of creepy or if she's like more cute and I'm just reading creepy into it. Her outfit feels very like she's the antagonist. Oh, the comic's about her pranking her dad in revenge. Oh, okay. Very good. I can get some antagonist vibes from her. Hence the name Lex Telinios? What does that mean? Does it mean revenge? Can you you hear the purrs? I don't think you can, but she is purring. Okay, but yeah. Good work on her overall. I think she's a really solid character design. Do you have any other questions on that? Charlie, shut up. No one asked you. The law of retaliation, whereby a punishment resembles the offense committed in kind and degree. Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. That's neat. It's a neat title. No other questions? Awesome. Well, really good work with her. Okay. And then Ellie is the last one. Don't you hee-hee in my chat, Charlie. We do not hee-hee here. We only hoo-hoo. Kuro, don't encourage them. Don't talk to them. Oh, bye, Miku. Okay, so Ellie is the eldest daughter. She's a fashion designer and makeup artist. Okay. Alright, so you had two versions where she's wearing... Oh, there's a cat paw on me. Help. I'm being sniffed. Hello? Can I help you? Can I help you? Oh, shoot. Ah. Why? Oh my god, the printer went off and she lost her mind. That's scary stuff. Printers? Oh my god. Miku's very cute. Okay. Cute coo. She run. Dude!
What?
You bonked the mic really loud.
Oh.
I'm turning it off. Okay. So your final one, you had a couple parkour queen and international superstar Hatsune Miku. Yes. That is her. I can't believe she sniffed my head. Okay, all right. Okay, so for this you had another design where the top is like all black. As opposed to this kind of polka dot pattern. Okay. So, overall vibes for her. She seems very, very fashionable. Makes sense. I really like the clothing choice you've made. I like the kind of bell shape going on with her shirt and her pants. I really like how it matches. I love the big belt buckle off to the side. It's very like it's very unique fashion. And I really like her hairstyle. Like it feels that very like slick kind of haircut you'd see from someone who's very fashionable and works as a model and all that stuff. I like her little long nails. And I think I like her shoes. Like, I like how you've added some like character into the shoes as well for her. I'm not sure if the frills really fit with the rest of her. Oh, that was two different color styles for the comic. Okay, never mind. But yeah, but with the shoes, I like how you've added character into it. Like, I like how they're unique to her. I'm just not sure if the little frills kind of match with the rest of her outfit. Because the rest is very, like, Very bold, very big. It doesn't have, like, it's frilly, but it's not that kind of little, like, flower lace frill that is in the shoes. I'd honestly, if I was putting this outfit together, I might put her in, like, stilettos or, like, a little high-heeled boot. Just because I think they'd really, because she's wearing, like, flared pants, you probably want to go kind of, like, kind of more narrow underneath to really accentuate the flare going on. I didn't want to draw heels. See, I think heels would have been great. Just like some little stilettos or like some little pumps. You would have been good. You could also do something like a pointed toe flat. Maybe with like a band around the ankle to go along with it. Something like that. That feels very high fashion to me. But I do like how you're adding things. I think that's a good way to look at it. I like how they match with the belt as well. Yeah. I just think a different shoe might work better. You could also keep the frills by making them bigger, making them kind of match the frill that is like the ruff on the top of her shirt. I don't know. I think I'd keep them simple, honestly. Like, I know how I was telling you with the other ones, I was like, make the shoe more character, and this one I'm like, less character. But yeah, I really like her design. I like,
Bye.
Oh, bye. I'll miss you, Bones. He's leaving. But yeah, really good work. I think her appearance really suits her personality and her what do you call it? Profession. Yeah, I also really like how you can, even though the characters all have very different like flavors to them, you can still tell that they're all like related. It's all like a dad and daughters. Yeah, I think you did a really good job with these. Do you have any other questions for Ellie's design? Anything I didn't cover? How old does she seem? She seems like she's either late teens or like early 20s. I'd say like 17 at the youngest and like mid 20s at the latest. That kind of range. I feel like she's a bit older. Just because it's like a more mature style of dress. But I can understand if you have like a maybe older teen character who's really into like fashion could also dress like this. Does that make sense? Honestly, when I first saw her, I thought maybe she was like a mom character. She's 20 but small. Okay. Yeah, I think you got the vibes down. Yeah. Yeah, do you have any other questions? I'm working on showing better. I think you're doing a really good job. I think your character designs are coming along really nice. That's all? Awesome. Well, thanks for submitting. Okay. So I think I'll do Nat's and then I'll do Sean's. So for Herbo Macquia. Okay, so you mentioned, Nat, you mentioned in your comments that some of the feedback that I gave on like your last submission you hadn't implemented in this because this was drawn like before I gave the feedback, so I won't do any nitpicks about what I said previously. You also mentioned that you felt like this, pacing wise, was like your slowest kind of section. And I felt that a little bit. I feel like the beginning of it is very strong. I really like the way you bring in different different elements. I'm not sure what to call them, but I like how you show like the screen with the announcement that's full of information. I like how you go through like the different character bios for the competition. And later, in the later half, I really like how you have she's like brainstorming, writing notes. I really like how you show them on the screen as kind of like their own panel. Like, I think that's a really neat idea. I also, one of my favorite pages in this whole section is this, where she's being like, because she's panicking about the competition, and she's looking at like everyone else's like profiles, and I love how they're just like piling up on her, and you can really feel her panic with just like, she's down at the bottom, there's this massive pile of profiles like crushing down on her, and it's just like a really nice visual. And I think this does like a really good job of showing like her mindset. And yeah, just really great work. I love the use of like bringing in screens into the comic. I think you do a really great job with that. As for the pacing, I really like the montage that you do, where you're showing all these like small scenes as the days count down. The countdown's really great. And I think you do a really good job of showing the passage of time and showing characters working on things without like drawing it out so much, where it's like, you know, you don't need to draw a billion pages of them like training and working and you know, showing the passage of time. I like how you've got it in very small panels showing lots of changes and events and stuff. I think you do the montage really well. I would say towards the end, where the main character is kind of like stressing out and like writing notes to and stuff and having a lot of self-doubt, towards the end it feels like it could be cut down a lot, because you have like a page showing like her workspace, and then you see her like hanging her head and huffing about and making plans and drawing and sketching, and then another page of like the same kind of thing and doing more, writing more notes and thinking and stressing and yeah, and it just feels like it goes on a little bit too long. I think you could honestly condense it down into like one page and maybe just show, because you have like here where you see all her notes, where I think you could show like how many different drafts, like you even have like she's like crossed out designs and like said wrong and stuff. I feel like that says so much, where you don't need to show like 2 or 3 pages of her just stressing and trying to write notes. I would condense them to like 1 page, and I think honestly something like that would really help pick up the pace a little bit if you're worried about it being slow. And then you can really focus on like the character interaction and stuff for later pages. But yeah, I think honestly that was like the only issue I was having, where that part felt very slow. I really like a lot of the paneling that you chose. Like I said, I love this one where she's like being crushed by the profiles. I love this one of like her doing the magic and like powering everything up. just really well utilized panels, and I think you did a really good job here. So yeah, Nat, if you have any questions about it, please reach out to me once you watch this, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. Really great work. Okay, so I think I'll move on to Sean, who submitted a bunch of pages, which I've seen like sketches or thumbnails for of some of them. So you wanted feedback on the pacing and mood and a read of the pages. So yeah, so I think overall you did like a really good job with atmosphere. I think you do a really good job of like using silhouette and making things feel very ominous. Like I love this opening of showing these like, I don't know what they are because there's no dialogue on these pages yet, but they feel like cultists or like like government agents, that kind of thing. Like they're spooky. You've done a good job of like making them seem spooky and powerful and scary. I also love this page here showing like, it looks like a protection symbol on the door. I'm not exactly sure, but it's very atmospheric. It's a good way to kind of set things up. Again, I'm missing a lot of context because I don't have any dialogue on these pages, but like super cool. I really like how you framed a lot of the things, like when he's looking down into the hatch where like, I'm assuming it's his daughter is hiding under the floor. Like you do a lot of cool stuff with like using like shadow to frame things. I think that's one of your strong suits with this. There were a few things I was curious about, like admittedly, like I said, there's no dialogue, so I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but I was confused when they've got a girl who's hiding under the floorboards, and then this girl shows up, and I thought for a second it was the same girl, just because they have very similar, like, hairstyles. They both have, like, frills on their, on the neck of their shirts. So I was like, wait, what's she doing? I thought she was under the floor. So yeah, so it might be cleared up with dialogue if, like, in an earlier page, they're like, hey, daughter 1, daughter A, you hide under the floorboards. And then this girl comes out and they're like, hey, daughter B, go back to bed. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, just design-wise, they feel very similar, so I was a little confused. This could easily be fixed, because, like, if they are related or are supposed to look similar, doing something like giving them one of their, like, one of them has their hair up and the other one keeps their hair down, just something like that to differentiate them a little bit would be helpful for me as a reader. Daughter 1, daughter B, and daughter last. Yes. But yeah. Otherwise, I think things are pretty solid, like story, visual storytelling wise. Just the two younger characters I couldn't really tell apart. Yeah, super atmospheric. I found there's one page that I really liked. So I love this panel up here where you see all the, like, cultist type characters, like, in silhouette. It's just so creepy and cool. The thing is, again, I think having dialogue would really help me understand here, but it looks, the way you've stylized it, where it's all silhouette with just, like, glowing eyes, is very creepy and ominous. But the way it's paneled out, where it's 3 panels of the same thing, it feels almost comedic. Like it's like they're just standing there and nothing's happening and it's awkward. So I'm getting mixed vibes from it. So if I were you, unless you are going for something comedic, I would condense it to one panel of just showing the silhouette and how creepy it is, and showing like the people in the background moving in. Like, you don't think you need 3 panels to do that? Oh, I guess it's her opening the door to them. But I don't know. It just feels a little... It feels comedic because of the 3 panel setup where not much has changed. Besides like the door kind of shuffling over. But I think you could do that by just showing the door open, maybe showing her hand to see that she's like, oh my god, I'm sorry, that she's just like pushed it open, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think just having the 3 of them kind of detracts from the creepiness. Suddenly very tired, so I'm gonna go to bed. Oh, thanks for coming, Crow. Sleep well. But yeah, lots of cool work with Shadow. I also found this I honestly found this page a little confusing, just because, like, it looks like she opens the door, and then it's closed, and then they pull it open, and then she pulls it closed, and I feel like just the way the camera shifts around, it's just a little hard to follow what the action here is. I just kind of make it more clear by maybe doing more of a fixed camera type thing, or cutting down the amount of panels, something like that, just to help it out with clarity. The only other thing I'll say is I love the part where she like summons the gun. I think you did a really... I love the part where you just see like her hand, and you see the gun floating, and you see the shadow on the floor. Like, I just think that's so cool. Like, it adds just like suspense to it, I guess. It's just very dramatic, and I really like it. And I think it's paced really well. Where you see her hand reach out, you see what she's you see the close-up, you see it fly, she grabs it, she shoots. I think that's just really well paced. I would say some of these portions feel a little bit sketchy to me. I'm actually not sure how far along you are in the art process on here. I'm not sure if these are like finalized pages or more still in the sketch phase. But there's some little things like not having the shadow completely touching the edges here. Things just feel messier as you kind of went along through the story, or through the pages, whereas like early on they felt a lot more kind of finished. Well, even here there's still some sketchiness, but yeah, I just go through, maybe neaten things up a little bit. Like, I like how loose your artwork is. I think that really adds to the feel of it, and I don't want you to lose that kind of loose sketchiness to it. But I think there's some places where it could be neatened up, like bringing the shadow all the way to the edges of the panels and stuff. And just making sure that you're consistent with that would help kind of make things all neat and nice. But yeah, overall, very cool, very well done, really great paneling. Overall, very good visual storytelling, good suspense and build up. Yeah, really great work, Sean. Okay, if you do have any questions about it, just send me a message, talk to me on the Discord, and I will happily answer them for you. So I think that covers everybody. So yeah, thank you all for joining, and thank you to everyone who submitted for the long form critique for today. So on Thursday, our next stream, we're going to be doing more critiques of more of the short forms, so like illustrations, character designs, that stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys there on Thursday. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed. If you would like your stuff critiqued, you You can join our Patreon at the $8 tier, and next month we'll be able to look at your stuff. Actually, it's not too late to submit for the short form if you join right now. So get in there, folks. Alrighty, thanks so much, guys. I hope everyone has a lovely day and you're all taking care of yourselves and being nice to yourselves and have a good time today. Goodbye. Mwah.